Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. Really appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Do the thing that it says on the screen. Greatly appreciate it, so thank you. Today's episode, we are talking about another Simpsons game. And I wanted to talk about this one in particular because I feel like this is like peak Simpsons for Simpson fans. And if you watched a few videos, you know that I like The Simpsons a lot. So we're talking about The Simpsons Hit and Run. Now, some people will say, this is just a Grand Theft Auto game with The Simpsons skin over it. And I would say, okay, sure. But then there's a little bit more than just that. Okay, yes, there are some sandbox elements to this game. And that's not a bad thing, first and foremost. If you are a Simpsons fan, grew up in the 90s, you watched, first at least dozen seasons of this show, you will really appreciate this game because this is one of the few times where we got a full fleshed out version of Springfield, which is something that a lot of Simpsons fans would like to be able to explore. And the game's basis, the story it's a vehicle for you to be able to dive into it. But a lot of the good parts of this game is based on the fact that you get to explore this town, but also they have all of these callbacks and all of these characters that you get to interact with from the show. So like I said, this is definitely something for Simpson fans. And also it's not a bad game. It's actually really good. And it ended up being like a greatest hits. And I know for some people that doesn't really mean anything, but for me, I always feel like if you can make the greatest hits list, you had to make something solid enough for people to be like, okay, this is one of those games where people bought it and then somebody had to tell someone else like, no, this is actually really good. And The Simpsons always had quality games, at least to me, where a lot of the other licensed IPs, they really didn't do a good job with it. Simpsons games usually were pretty solid. And this one is probably like one of the best ones. Obviously, it's not as memorable as the Simpsons arcade game, for example, but that game, was an arcade classic, and it kind of benefited from being one of those 4-player beat 'em up games from back in the day. Now, this game, you start off as Homer. Eventually you get the option of playing with other Simpson characters. You also have the ability to change the outfits of the characters. So, for example, when you are playing Homer, you can go and get different costumes. I personally like Moo Moo Homer, but also I wanted to show you Chosen One Homer. And then since this game is based on driving, which is like the successor to the Simpsons Road Rage game, which was just purely driving, this game allows you to get different vehicles. So you start off in the Simpson family vehicle, great, fantastic car. And then you can start doing things like you can use the coins that you find in order to buy different ones. Like you can buy the Mr. Plow truck. You can also get other vehicles that don't belong to the Simpsons. For example, I got Barney's Plow King vehicle, and it is putting salt out as it drives. I also unlocked Cletus's truck. And the missions in this game, they all revolve around things that you're already familiar with. For example, I had to go tobacco farming. And again, if you are a Simpsons fan, you would love the idea of going tobacco farming, because that's a fantastic episode. So the game is basically just a bunch of callbacks to a degree. There's some new things that they did specifically for this game, but a lot of what makes this game great is all the callbacks to the show. So again, if you are a Simpsons fan, I'm telling you, this is a fantastic game to play, and it's not too hard to find. It was for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, so you have a couple of different options on how you can acquire it, wink, wink. But I invite you, if you are a Simpsons fan, to try this game out because it is fantastic, it is funny, and even playing it again for this episode, the jokes, again, if you're a Simpsons fan, they hold up. So it's still a good time. I still enjoy it, and every once in a while I like to go back and, kind of relive some of those memorable moments in this game. And, if you are a Simpsons fan, again, I think you should play it. If you are a fan of sandbox games and you're looking for something different, I'm telling you, it's really solid. So definitely give it a chance if you have the opportunity to do so. Don't pay attention to my bad driving because, I was doing my best, just doing this for you all, right? It's not for me. But I do appreciate you giving me a chance to reminisce with you. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Peace.